All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. And today I got a special guest with me.
How's it going, everybody? SwagKage here.
If you don't know who he is, you should go check up his name on YouTube with a way bigger channel than mine. He makes Naruto videos, and I figured who else would be the perfect guest than him when we're talking about ninjas.
I actually asked Jesse to teach me this deck. I saw that he topped an event playing ninjas. I was like, okay, well, I've been waiting for this deck to be playable for a while. I didn't never actually think it was going to happen. So
I unfortunately did not top, but I do think if I were to try it again, I could get there. I think this deck has a lot of potential. You can dive right into it. We're looking at on screen here is the deck that I played at the event. Now, Swag, you said you didn't know any of the new ninja cards outside of Hanzo, right?
yeah, basically, like I know what Hanzo does. I've glanced at the other cards before, but yeah, like I'll basically be learning the deck from scratch.
That's all right, and that's okay because honestly, these guys have a wall of text on them, and the first time somebody told me to read them, I read them like half-assed, and didn't even remember what they did. Hanzo is, of course, the best card in the deck. It's open with Elite. At least you normally summon get Ninjutsu Arts, which they are plenty of. Then when it's flipped or special, do we get to add any of your other ninjas? So we can use him multiple times per turn because it's not once per turn. And yeah, this is just the best one to start with. Now, one thing that does kind of suck with him that people don't realize is it is a when effect, and then you can. So if you summon him mid-chain with one of your ninjutsu arts, it will not search. I'm going to read the fusions to you because they are really important. Maizen the Battle Ninja is like kind of what brings this deck together. It's really weird that you wouldn't think ninjas have fusion monsters, but they do, and these ones are like gladiator beasts, the contact fusions. Two ninjas with different types, which is not that hard, draw different types, or almost all different types. And you can fusion summon them with a fusion spell or any other way, but you can also fusion summon them by tributing the guys you control. So this means you can use face downs, of course, which is why Book of Moon effects are bad against this deck. You don't care if they're face down.
Yeah, exactly. Right, so like you activate Book of Eclipse, wipe out a whole Kashtira field. Even if you have a full field established, you can still go into these guys after. That's really good.
Yeah. And what's nice about keeping in line with that, not caring about face down monsters on your opponent's end as well, is your guys attack directly, all ninjas. But yeah, you don't really care if your opponent has face down monsters either, because Maizen has the ability that all your ninjas can attack directly. So you can Eclipse, and not only do you not care that your guys are face down, but their guys filling up the field doesn't matter either. They go straight over top.
Yeah, and then they're basically like toon monsters. They can just swing.
Yeah. Oh man, tunes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I swear they're better than that.
Tunes.
Yeah.
Yeah. She wants tunes to be good. She wants to play them so bad. I'm always like, nah. I mean, I guess I'm also coping because I'm playing ninjas, but like you said, the deck seems a lot better than
this deck is
tunes.
actually like fine. Yeah. This deck can fit a lot of utility cards in, which is important because you can adapt to any meta, right? With Ash, Nibiru, Imperm, and 6 books. 15 flex spots is like great. A lot of like those can change depending on the format, but right now I think these are the best. Anyways, yeah, so Maizen has the other ability that while you have a face down dude, your opponent cannot attack this card. Not that important, but it's like fine. In my round 3 feature match, ended up coming up when like he had big dudes attacking, I summoned a guy face down so you can attack the Maizen, so it is relevant. The main reason you play it though is that when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, special ninja from your deck, and face up or face down defense.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? Being able to pick either one, and like being able to quick effect summon Sork is always nice.
It's situational, right? And you see there's a lot of one-ofs in this deck, and that really fits in theme with the toolbox that Maizen provides. It means when they're hand trapping you or disrupting you on your turn, it's extension, but also on their turn, it's disruption. So it acts as both at the same time. And where it wouldn't look like it's that crazy, maybe at first glance, it really is, because getting multiple triggers, special from the deck, is really not something to be underrated.
Like being able to do it as a quick effect in particular is like really strong.
So what some people often don't really realize is Kashtira Arise Heart is a mandatory effect that when a card is banished, it attaches as material. So this is important now, because if your opponent has this card on the field and you make Maizen, it has to trigger to attach, which means you immediately get a special one from the deck. So now they can't play around it by just not activating anything. It forces the trigger. So now it means anytime you can get the Maizen in the field or into an Arise Heart, you get a special from deck. So it may prompt them to banish ahead of time. And if they're banishing one of the materials rather, then obviously that's way less value in theory. So just an important thing to note in the Kashtira matchup is that this is mandatory and you'll always get your Maizen trigger. So the other fusion here is the newest one, Yagamaru. or your Yaguramaru. So this is the same where it can be fusion summoned with 2 ninjas of different types, or special summoned by attributing them face down or face up. And if it's special summoned or flip face up, you can banish a ninja or ninjutsu art from your hand, field, or grave. Target a card, banish it. So this one's great. It's just removal. It's very simple.
Yeah.
And it's nice as well that if it's flipped up, it triggers again. So a lot of times, like, you'll book itself back down to the clips, flip it up, and keep triggering it. It's not strictly something that's just on like special summon, especially because there's other ways in this deck where you can book your own stuff face down.
Sure. Yeah. So it's like you can get a lot of value out of the card for sure. Like I feel like even if you just get the on special summon proc, that's probably good enough. Like if you can banish the right thing, but yeah, being able to flip it back up over and over to abuse it turn after turn if you enter a grind game seems strong.
What if I told you now you could do this during your opponent's turn as well? And that's why this card is really good for that reason. Mostly is that it turns into one of your disruptions when you fuse on your opponent's turn. Can be destroyed by battle card effect the turn is specialed or flipped. This is kind of nice, but not super important. It just means that if you summon it with any of your Jutsu arts or your Maizen, your opponent can't go like attack into it first to try bait it out because it's just nothing. You can send it from your hand to the grave special ninja from your hand and face up or face down defense. This is like not a fantastic effect because it's a -1. However, it does set up like the fusion plays in your awkward hands, and some other guys get triggers when the special summon, so that's good too. Like Hanzo, if you want a monster, you can special summon it instead of normal summoning it with this card. But then also during your opponent's main or battle phase, quick effect, special summon, or fusion summon using your guys from your hand or field.
Right, yeah, that seems like the reason why you play the card. I think that the first effect, the continuous protection, is like probably situationally very useful. Like I can't imagine that this wouldn't come up at least once. It's
like your hidden ability. It definitely matters. So yeah, you can make Maizen or Yaguramaru. So you get a banish or this to keep like layering your disruption a bit, and also you just dodge like targeted stuff, right? Like if they're trying to threaten the interruption before you make a field, so they want to get rid of the Yaguramaru, you can just fuse into Maizen and then still have your disruption elsewhere in the turn. So that kind of is one of your pieces of disruption is the Yaguramaru through Tabari, but there's another way to disrupt your opponent in a way that's also kind of with fusion summoning, and that is with Green Ninja. So Green Ninja has 2 effects. First one is nice, but not the main reason we play it, and that is if a monster special summons your field, target one of them and special summon this card in your hand, and then change that guy face down. It being a warrior is kind of annoying because if you're booking something, it means if you want to fuse with it, they can't both be warriors. But it can also be nice to set something and reflip it face up. So Yaguramaru, for example, when you summon it, you can like book it and then your turn flip it up. So if you're doing it in the end phase, or like when your opponent's about to end their turn versus backroad X, you can banish a guy, put it face down, your turn comes, flip it back up, banish another dude, and then start refusing and relinking, whatever you want to do. But the main reason you play it is if it's sent to the hand or field to the grave, you can target a guy on the field, change it to face up attack or face down defense.
Any card is pretty good, right? It doesn't have to be yours. It doesn't have to be theirs.
It can do either or, right? So it's important for flip-flopping stuff on your turn, or even on your opponent's turn, but also you can set their guys face down. So this can also act as one of your disruptions in your opponent's turn. So you got this disruption and you got Yaguramaru disruption. So 2 kind of main interrupts right now. Third interrupt is Mitsu. This one is a 3 of because it's good as a starter. Rather as an extender, and also disrupt. Its disrupt effect is not great, and its extender effect is also not great, but because it's so flexibly like searchable, it's still worth playing a 3, and it's still like not much is better than it, sadly, as an extender. If you control a ninja or a face down guy, special summon it from your hand. When your opponent activates a monster or effect, you can target a face down that you control, flip it face up, and then change the Mitsu face down. And if the guy you flipped up was both a ninja and not Mitsu, then you negate that effect. What's important to note here is if you can flip other stuff face up that's not a ninja. If for whatever reason you need to, it just won't negate the effect. But yeah, you can summon this during your opponent's turn with other stuff, and then you set up that monster negate, which is nice. It doesn't destroy it, but it's still something.
Yeah, so like you can like proc your own stuff, like negate effects at the same time. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of value. I can see why you would play 3 of this.
Your 4th main interrupt in the ninja theme is going to be YuGiOh, and it's probably the best one. So if it's normal, special summoned, or flip face up, you can target up to 2 on the field and change it face down. And if you do any monsters that were flipped by this effect, cannot change your battle position.
Okay, so typically typically you probably don't want to use this on your own stuff unless you have effects to flip them back up.
I don't think I've ever done it on my own guys, but you can. I think I've always felt a bit risky. It has the second effect though, which is not to be forgotten because it does matter a lot. If a monster is on the field is flip face up while this guy is on the field, you can target a card opponent controls and destroy it. So this can also be a 5th disruption-ish if you combo with Green Ninja to flip a guy up on your opponent's turn, but that would be in place of the book effect. So I don't consider it a 5th disruption really, but it could give you some versatility where if you don't want to book a guy, now you can pop back row, because that's something that's up until now we didn't really have a great way of dealing with. So our other 2 main deck ninja monsters are extension tools rather than disruption. Baku is my favorite. I was playing 2 before, but he's kind of asked to draw, so I cut it down to 1. And this deck has so much search ability that I decided it was fine. If it's added to your hand, you can special summon it, which is great. And then when it's summoned or special summoned or flip face up, target any of your ninjas or ninjutsu arts in your grave or in a spell trap card zone and add it to your hand. So great cycling ability. Gets back Hanzo, can get back anything else. Mitsu, Green Ninja, can recycle pretty much anything. Getting back into Ninjutsu arts is really good as well if you hadn't already used them, because 2 of them are insane, which I'll get to later. The last monster is pretty similar, and it's Kagero. If it's normal, flipped, or special summoned, special ninja from your hand or grave and face down defense. If face down doesn't matter because again you can fuse with them, but sometimes you do want to flip it up later and get the flip effects. The only annoying thing is because this one's face down, you can't make your Saizo Link monster with it, but not the biggest deal. It being level 4 doesn't matter for an easy kill shot that I will show you. Yeah, it has a second effect that's also nice, is when your opponent activates a card effect that targets exactly 1 ninja card or 1 face down position monster you control while he's in your grave. You can special summon it in face down defense, and if you do, return the targeted card to your hand. So those are all the main deck ninja monsters. There are 2 more extra deck ones I guess I'll go over before the ninjutsu arts. First one is Saizo. We play 2 of. This guy is actually way better than I first give it credit for. It's pretty much the same as the other fusions where it's just 2 ninjas, and during the main phase you can set a ninjutsu art from your deck. It cannot be targeted for an attack or a card effect. It's great, and your ninjutsu arts are really powerful, so it's definitely not something you want to forget. I did forget it once in tournament by mistake. Yeah, no, it's a great hidden ability again. The deck has a lot of random hidden abilities that do matter, so it'll take a couple games to get fully used to it. I know myself, I'm still not fully used to everything because there's a lot of moving pieces. Do you remember this, or?
Yeah, I played Bubble Beat deck.
Oh, yeah.
Back in like 2014 or something, right? And yeah, you would just special summon Blade Armor.
It's important to note that it targets any ninja, not just itself. So you can target the Maizen, which matters for specific lethal combo. Okay, so I guess let's go into the ninjutsu arts. This is the most important tool for going second in the deck, I think at least, and that is Iron Digger. It is ninjutsu art, so searchable off your other cards like Hanzo and off Saizo. Because it's not a trap, you can use it that turn, which is important because all the other ones, if you set directly, only one of the other ones can be used if you add it directly to the hand. So 500 attack is important because if remember we had this ability to do 72 direct. If we equip the equip spell to Maizen, it goes to 3k, 3k twice, 6,000 plus 2282. So easy lethal shot there. Also treated as a ninja matters a little bit, not a crazy amount. It matters where randomly if you Nibiru them, you can turn the Nibiru into a ninja, and now you can link confuse with it, which is just really funny. Yeah, but that's not the reason you play this card. The reason to play it is it's 2 other effects. Where once paternity bench ninja from your grave, target a card in the field and destroy it. So that's obviously fantastic. Just removal, and then its other factors. If a sent in the field to the grave, you target one of your banished ninja monsters, so it can be whatever you just banished, either special it face down or add it to your hand. And then probably the best ninjutsu art in the deck is Notebook of Mystery. It's another search card. If your opponent controls a card, you can set up to 1 ninja monster and up to 1 ninjutsu art spell trap except itself, and these cards come from your deck and or grave, but only 1 can come from each. So yeah, special summon 1 from deck and set a spell from deck, or from your grave, or vice versa. It's obviously nuts. Like when you're playing into a field, if you have this in your hand and you want to hold it and you have other ways to play, you can like link for or fuse for a Maizen or a Saizo and then use this to special summon your guy back face down and then set Iron Digger from the deck to like keep pushing a lot. So your last 2 ninjutsu arts in the main decks would be Duplication, is probably the worst one, but still pretty good. Tribute to Ninja, special summon as many ninjas from your deck in face up attack or face down defense with combined levels equal to or less than. So this is where it kind of matters to pay attention to the levels you're making. Maizen is 6, Yagamaru or Yagoromaru is 5, Geo is 8. And that's why we also play 3 Tabari, 3 Mitsu. They're low levels. So it's very easy to like summon multiple Tabaris from the deck, fuse with a couple of them, and then keep one of them maybe face down and 1 Mitsu still in attack mode. That way you can use the Mitsu negate and get a fusion effect off 1 trap card. And then you'll also have this triggering to summon Geo probably, but say they negated it. Say they go like activate effect, then you go chain Maizen to summon Geo, they Ash. You can go this, and you still get plenty of disruption, so not.
Yeah, this card seems insane.
Yeah. And if you think this one is insane, this one is better. It's may seem less impressive, but it's just way more flexible, and it's reusable as well. So target a ninja on the field, one face down defense position monster in the field. Quickly, this is either player's field. So that means if you equip Iron Digger to their monster, it is a ninja, you contribute it. Or if you have Book of Moon, their monster, you contribute their monster. And it means if you open up like no ninja monsters, but you open up this plus book, that's you're still playing. That's enough to play the game. And I think I did that in one of my feature match, or something similar, where just this like gets me there. You can target one ninjutsu art in your spell trap card zone, or turn at your hand, so including itself. Now notice if the monster leaves the field, this guy doesn't. So after you've kind of got rid of that monster, refused it away, linked it away, whatever, you can add this card back and keep using it. Now you can target other ninjutsu art as well. You can target the duplication, but usually adding this guy is just the sickest, because attributing their monsters that are like stuck face down from YuGiOh and turning them back into interrupts is really useful. There's one other like kind of interesting card in here, and that is this nonsense.
Yeah, I was looking. I was like, I don't recognize that card from the portrait.
It is a new card. Yeah. So it's a really random card that shout out to somebody in my last ninja video who told me to play it, and because it's something I did not think of. It is very, very silly. You can special summon it by tributing an insect, 1,000 or more defense, equipped with an equip card. Mitsu is an insect. It's destroyed by battle, but once per turn during the battle phase. So either players, if a face-up card is in the field zone, you can destroy all monsters just when it controls.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Okay, so how are you feeling? Ready to hop in maybe some duel puzzles or some games?
Yeah, sure. Either one, whichever one you think is more appropriate.
Okay, so I got a bit of a puzzle here to see how you can, I guess, maneuver some of the interactions here for ninjas. This hand here has Book of Eclipse, and that should deal with the field here from the Kashira player. Oftentimes people say, okay, but then how do you deal with maybe an imperm? How do you deal with the field so that they don't draw a bunch of cards? How do you deal with a follow-up? And people say there's a lot of bad cards in ninjas, like maybe Tabari and Mitsu aren't the best at dealing with fields. Well, I want to show you here that even with these kind of awkward string of cards that aren't Hanzos or notebooks, you can still clear a field and end with follow-up and interrupts through other stuff. So yeah, you need a non-engine card here, but that's the way this deck is designed. You have plenty of those. Two cards in the graveyard here, the Unicorn and the Book of Moon. Let's say that's your opponent's follow-up. Those are cards. He has a Unicorn on hand and he's drawing Book of Moon off the top. You need to break this field, clear everything, or almost everything, but you have to clear all the monsters, deal with the impermanence, and also be able to stop his follow-up.
Yeah, so obviously, yeah, you would just open with the Book of Eclipse, flip everything face down, like you said. And like you said, yeah, this hand is awkward. I'm trying to figure out which one you should normal summon, because I don't think that you would want to start out with the Tabari effect.
Tabari effect is only during your opponent's main phase or battle phase. You can't even fuse.
Well,
right
I was talking about the in-hand effect. I don't think you want to start out with that. I think you would probably want to normal summon one of them and then go into mid-tier.
So the other two can summon themselves, so it's probably best not to start with Tabari.
Yeah, I agree. So, are we looking at a gigantic line here with the green and the Mitsu?
So that is the obvious option. However, if you do that, you are weaker to interrupts. Zeus is a lot weaker to Book of Moons and negation than something like Maizen is. So if you have a way to end on Maizen, we probably should. Also, here is Beak to the back.
Yeah, I was about to say the gigantic would just get impermed anyway. Yeah, I probably wouldn't go for gigantic if they had one set card, just because it'd be vulnerable to like immediately losing.
There still is a very easy way to do that, though.
None of them deal with back row or like force it out, I guess. So
there is. Remember, there are two ways to deal with back row in this deck. One is YuGiOh, one is Iron Digger.
Yeah. Okay, so the fusions, yeah, so you would probably contact fuse. So what I think you would do is probably normal summon Mitsu and then special summon green from hand.
So Green Ninja requires you to monster special summoned. And Mitsu is the one that says if you control ninja or a card face down, you special summon it. So
right, yeah. I meant the reverse, my bad, sorry. Yeah, you normal summon green and then special Mitsu.
Okay, what's next? Viewers, okay, so I did quickly forget one thing. I mentioned the Zeus line being enough, but not quite enough to beat the Peach Disruption. There actually is one other reason why Zeus isn't an option, and that is because they will probably banish it with Mind Hacker. So Zeus was not the correct answer anyways. I was trying to show why it was a better option than Zeus. Let's just say, for simplicity purposes, Zeus is going to be gone. So banish face down, no Zeus.
I think we probably go into Maizen, right? Because I can't see Yaguramaru actually like it would get rid of the imperm, but well, no, okay. I guess I see what. So you could, I guess, summon the Yaguramaru to get rid of the imperm, and then use the Tabari as a body to extend from there.
So what you have to do for that, which is what you should be doing, is normal summoning the Tabari, and then you can special summon the Mitsu.
Yeah.
And then special summon the Green Ninja because you summoned a Mitsu, and then it turns Mitsu face down.
That makes more sense.
So any zone specific you want to place any of these?
I guess probably in one of the link pointer zones that you would have, just so that like if we make Hanzo or Saizo. Oh, I meant the fusion monster, right? Eventually, because that way, if we summon Saizo, they can't be targeted by card effects.
Sure. So what do you want to do here?
At this point, we probably go into Yaguramaru, right?
Okay.
And
with what? Which two?
I would actually say probably flip the Mitsu up first with Green Ninja, maybe.
It has to go to the grave. Yeah, if it's sent to the grave, you can flip one up.
Oh, okay, then yeah, we would use Green Ninja and Tabari to go into Yaguramaru. Sure. And then Mitsu would flip back up.
Are we using Yaguramaru on a summon?
Yeah.
So you banish one, does it matter which one?
Probably Green Ninja, because Tabari might be useful for follow-ups since it's a quick effect. Actually, then I guess banish Tabari since you special summon banish ninjas. Never mind.
Exactly, yeah. It doesn't, it's weird to think about it that way, but getting banishing ninjas is not actually like gone. So imperm will get chained. That's fine.
Mitsu will, we would use Mitsu and Yaguramaru to link into Saizo, and then can I see the ninjutsu art cards again? So we can't use anything but Iron Digger this turn.
Correct.
So I guess we have to take Iron Digger.
Okay, not in the imperm column, obviously.
Are we gonna blow up our own Saizo so that we can special summon the
It can
Tabari?
pop itself, the Iron Digger.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So then I guess, we would blow itself up to summon the Tabari.
What do you want to banish?
I guess we can banish. Do you think it matters here?
No.
You don't have to? Okay, yeah, then I would probably just get rid of, like, Yaguramaru.
So you can bring back one face down defense. And then what?
Yeah, I forget that it is in face down defense position.
The thing is, it wouldn't have done anything even if it was face up. So if it was face up, you can make what? Maizen, and then you could have just made Maizen in the first place, right? Like instead of with the Yaguramaru and the Mitsu. Instead of wasting a Digger, the end result would have been the exact same. You don't have a way to deal with these three or these four.
Yeah, so I guess we could go into Saizo first then.
Sure.
Using the green and the Tabari. I guess that we can flip the monster up. Let me see something. Yeah, so if Saizo was on summon, then no, never mind. That doesn't matter at all because it's imperm. It's not Ash, so you can't chain block that.
They can't imperm it because you can't be targeted while it points to a monster.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. No,
That's why it was important you want to summon whatever you were going to keep up in the specific zone in the middle or all the way on the right.
So yeah, then use Saizo's effect to grab Iron Digger.
Sure.
And then we can destroy the imperm.
Sure. What are we equipping it to?
Does that matter here?
It might. Remember one of our nifty tools in the extra deck.
Oh yeah, we're gonna equip it to Mitsu.
Yeah.
And then okay, yeah. So we'll equip it to Mitsu and then banish Tabari and pop the imperm,
right.
And then tribute the Mitsu to summon Ultimate Great Insect.
We're adding back Tabari. What do you want to do?
Summoning it in face down doesn't. I feel like it doesn't do like anything.
But remember, we can still fusion afterwards with the Saizo. The Saizo is still a ninja.
That's true. Yeah, so I guess summon the Tabari face down to the Saizo zone. If we went into Yaguramaru from here, we could get rid of at least one of them.
Well, no, remember, this says, let's turn in the battle phase, the face-up cards in the field zone, destroy all monsters opponent controls.
Oh, right, yeah, duh.
So now we have to worry about follow-up. So now this
card is so weird.
this is now checked, all of these.
Yeah, okay, cool.
All we want now is, so this is like not that big of a deal. We want follow-up now, right? Or interruption. How can we get interruption from here?
Yeah, we probably want to go into Maizen.
Yeah.
I think.
Yep,
yeah, so that way we can summon something from the deck.
Yeah.
Afterwards. And then, yeah, I guess we just swing for 55.
Yep, clear up the field.
Ultimate Great Insect is so goofy. Dude, I never would have seen this line without coaching.
Yeah, this deck is, like, unless you like start playing it, you don't realize how many options there are, and that's why I urge people to play it. Not that it's just like maybe cheap and decent, but it's also just very unique and like interesting. The lines are not straightforward, and this hand didn't have Hanzo, didn't have Notebook, and didn't have any of your go-to great starters. And this is fine right now. So now if my follow-up is these two, I don't have a great answer. So if my answer was to go special this and try force the battle phase to attack over the Maizen, the bug just blows up my field again. This is during either player's battle phase.
Yeah, because it's a quick effect. It's so stupid.
And if you try and book the Maizen so that you can't summon YuGiOh when you use Unicorn,
he responds by
special from deck. So you can summon Tabari, and then when you summon the Unicorn, you can fuse into Yaguramaru and banish the Unicorn. Alternatively, if you just go special Unicorn and use its effect, you can just book it. If they do use the effect, they can get Birth, which is something, but they don't have a great play. It's pretty much just Birth back Fenrir, make like a Zeus line, which is something, but again, they have to use the book on this. They can't, so they can get to battle phase. Yeah, I mean, this deck has many options. You could also just get this and like hold it for this and then hit the Birth if he adds Birth. That's why this deck is really cool. I'm not sure exactly the correct options, but the point here is this gives you the most disruption, and he can't do a lot. No matter what, it's going to be fairly restrictive.
Yeah, you have to answer the Great Insect, and when you do, it procs the Maizen.
This was only 4 cards as well. If you have any other disruption piece, you're really, really far ahead. That was just a very cool way to break a field. I wanted to share kind of how you want to cycle through your links and fusions a bit to play through fields. I think that's kind of the biggest thing that people don't really get is because it's so fluid, the deck linking off monsters, like all can be used as material for the next monster. That's what you're going to be doing to break through fields, is cycle through the Yaguramaru and the Saizo to break the field and ending on Maizen. And then if you can, also the Great Moth, and then try to get to Ninjutsu Arts or whatever. That was the main like type of approach you're going to have to breaking a field. What if we go first? I'm just going to open up a hand here and I'm going to see what you think we'd do. Okay, so say your hand is this.
Yeah, so I think we would probably open with the Prosperity.
Yeah.
First to see what we're working with. Second to bait out an Ash.
Sure. What do you typically banish, you think?
So it's weird. It's like you would probably want to... I think that you would probably banish Zeus. Well, no, if you're going first and this is game 1, it's weird because it's like you might banish Zeus just because you think it's going to get banished anyway. But well, probably not, because like if it's like I might not be playing against Kashtira, then I think you would want to hold on to it. So I would say probably M7.
So I think that going first Zeus is not that big of a deal. If you remember, one of the weaknesses with this deck was the first specific turn. It can be kind of hard to clear things up, but after your first turn, you can go wider and you can just ignore what they have. So you don't care about the Zeus as much. And if you're getting rid of Zeus, you get rid of every other card associated with it, which is the Cross Sheep, the Gigantic, the Downward, and the M7. This means you have to pick between everything else, all the ninja cards and Ultimate Great Insect. Ultimate Great Insect's another board clearing card, so typically that's what I get rid of.
Keep it.
I'm banishing it because I don't need the board clear right now. And it leaves the ninjas here for the grind game because those are the most important cards, and the blade armor for the lethal setup. So the turn 1 plays here are honestly not that interesting. Like what would you grab here?
So do we have a way to like summon YuGiOh from hand, or would it be better to grab like... So we obviously don't want the Book of Moon because we have the... Well, maybe... like a lot of these have value. I actually think that probably I would avoid the ninjutsu art cards. I would probably pick Ash, Book, or YuGiOh.
So YuGiOh is probably the worst one because you're going to summon from the deck at any point, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. So I was thinking the YuGiOh was a card that you try to search and then summon, but no, you're right. You just summon it from the deck with Maizen. Yeah. So never mind.
Or the ninjutsu art, yeah.
It might actually be Dancing Leaves because we have Eclipse, so we would just be able to like pick which of
So Dancing Leaves is nice because it means if this gets stopped, we have a way to play. Now Rhoda doesn't get any other ninjas besides Hanzo, Green Ninja, or Kagero. So if this gets stopped, you actually can't extend with this. It can't get Mitsu, it can't get Tabari, it can't get Baku. So this is going to be follow-up. The Rhoda can't be anything more than that right now, unfortunately. And same with the Prosperity. So we're actually only playing with 4 cards in our hand, technically, right now, which isn't amazing. But it's also not the end of the world. And this means that now if we get stopped here, we can use the leaves plus the Eclipse to continue playing on their turn by tributing their monsters. So it's still 2 interrupts, which is fine.
Yeah.
Considering we only had 4 cards in the hand and they have to burn a card in the hand trap. And also it's nice that one of the main things you want to go for setup-wise is if you can get both ninjutsu art trap cards, it means you can do a lot. Because you can do this first one to summon YuGiOh and book 2 of their dudes. And then you can tribute the YuGiOh for duplication to summon up to level 8 from your deck. Say you want to hold the Eclipse because it's the most flexible and you don't want to use it straight away, and you distribute the Hanzo, which is fine. And you YuGiOh them and you book their dude. Now they have a way to push through it. You can duplication, and you can summon a crap ton, right? You can go this, you can put Mitsu in attack mode. You can summon Tabari in attack mode. This is 5, missing 3 levels right now. Another Tabari, and then another Mitsu. So they need to swing over 2 Mitsus. Put this face down. And this can be either a Maizen now to keep like pushing through stuff, or it can be the Yagamaru if you want to banish. You got the Book of Moon effect, and this will trigger to negate as well by flipping this up. If they kill this, you still have another one. I think to kill both to do anything. And then obviously from this point on, if they pass the field, this can return itself to the hand, which is nice. You can only use one effect per turn, so you can't use both in the same turn, which is important to note, but I think we can steal. Say this gets Ash, you do not care. You don't need the prosperity anymore. You can just like, say one of these died, you can turn it into Saizo, and you can like equip the dagger from deck. And it can pop itself by banishing Hanzo, which you can add, and then this dies. You can special summon or add to hand. You can add it to hand. You can normal set from deck, or you can add from deck. You can add like this, specials from grave and sets from deck. You could also like set Green Ninja to do some flip flop stuff. Like if you want to clear the field again, you can set the Green Ninja from deck, fuse it away for Maizen, set this, then flip it back up to banish again. You just have a lot of tools for constant recursion.
Yeah.
And you can see how easy it is to go wide with this deck. So that's pretty much the deck. I think it has a lot of intricacies to it that are hard to explain in just the video. You can kind of see.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
I've played a lot of decks that are like that before. Like at YCS Charlotte last year, I played Vendread, Megalith, Drytron. And
Oh
just,
damn,
like,
yeah. Vendreads are really interesting like that. Yeah, they have a lot of
Yeah.
like hidden abilities and stuff. If you have any other questions, you can let me know. But hope you guys enjoyed this type of video. It is fairly long. I wanted to give a pretty in-depth look at how myself and Vlad built the ninja deck, and also ways to approach fields and ways to approach actually dueling with it. I know I had a video on this before that was more brief, but I had a lot of requests to kind of expand upon it. I hope this did justice. How are you feeling, Swag? Are you feeling like you get a grasp of this now?
Yeah. I might actually try and bring it to locals.
I recommend you do it. It is like, I mean, being cost effective is not always the biggest reason to do something, but it is nice that this deck is not that expensive. I do think this deck can hold its own in the meta in an incredibly unique and fun way. So let me know if you guys are playing it at your locals and how you're finding it, or if you think there's anything you should change, because there may be something I've missed. But yeah, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time.